Hello, guys. This is a review of Taylor Swift's The Eras Tour. I had a chance to watch it on theaters last week with my siblings. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, so this is not going to be a very detailed and Easter egg filled review, obviously. But I do like some of her songs. I've always liked her music in general. So this is just my opinion and how much I enjoyed it. First, a little bit of exposition how I even decided to watch it, how it all came about, starting from the very beginning. I remember when I must have been in high school, I'm assuming. I don't know, I was pretty young, and Taylor Swift was coming up. She was promoted as this country singer, just making hit after hit after hit, and it was very teenagey with songs like, I believe, Love Song. And then You Belong With Me, when that one came about, I feel like that was one of her biggest hits. 2010ish, maybe 9ish, 10ish, around that time. And then, like a year or two later, something like that, she just erupted. She was like, it was crazy. What's that song called? Trouble, I believe. That song was, in my opinion, the song that really like got her to superstar status, because she was a very well known singer, very famous, but it's a completely different level to go from well known to being like a household name. And around that time, if I'm not mistaken, as well, we had the Kanye situation at that award ceremony. I'm wanting to say VMAs probably. And ever since then, not the Kanye situation, but after the You Belong With Me and then Trouble came about, I noticed that my classmates were like just really liking Taylor Swift like a lot. I wasn't that much into Taylor Swift, but I did like that song. I liked Love Song and You Belong With Me and Trouble. And especially Trouble was like, I mean, this song is amazing and it's a pop song. And to go from, for me, Taylor was always very popish, but it was a very big turn in terms of like the bass, which was, in my opinion, solely pop and not just a generic pop, but it was a very well, I mean, it could be argued, but it was very modern. It had that like back in those days, it was very like LMFAO and Lady Gaga, uh, that type of like electronic sound. Um, and yeah, ever since, I mean, she's been launching hit after hit after hit after hit, and just I realized just how famous she was during this Eras tour, because my colleagues at work, they are young, I must say, they're big fans of Taylor Swift, and everybody was talking about getting tickets, this and that, and I was undergoing a very terrible family situation with my stepdad. He got diagnosed with cancer, and it was a whole thing that really really affected me. But I remember walking in the hospital halls and overhearing the nurses talking about Taylor Swift concert and how good it was, and oh, I got tickets, and I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm at work, I'm hearing Taylor Swift. I'm at the hospital, I'm hearing Taylor Swift. I'm like driving to work, I'm hearing Taylor Swift on the radio. I'm hearing Taylor Swift. I'm seeing her on the news. I'm seeing her in my news feed on social media. Taylor Swift was, and I'm pretty sure is still everywhere, especially because she's dating a football player, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just like her level of fame right now, I think, is at its peak. It's safe to say that. And that's why I thought, you know what? I remember um, living through those eras myself and where I was back in those days. That's what music is about. You know, sometimes it just transports you back to different epochs, different ways of living that you've experienced growing up. And my siblings are like, they like musicals. They enjoy, the lights and the dancing and the live singing. So I was like, I think that's perfect because I enjoy concerts in general. So we're gonna have a big production. I'm not expecting anything less of Taylor Swift. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be big. It's gonna be colorful. And I always tell my siblings, as long as it's a big production with talented people that can dance and sing, or one of the other, and a big, lights and music and sounds and confetti, then we're gonna have a good time. And we did. The concert, the one that we attended, the showtime was for 7:30, and I work and they go to school. It was during the weekday, so it was a bit difficult to stay awake, I must admit, but it was through no fault of Taylor. Obviously, she was fantastic. One of the first things that I was thinking as I watched her perform was that she really worked her butt off for the concert. I mean, it's choreographed heavily. It doesn't have like extravagance, like never before seen dance moves on her part because she's not a dancer. We all know that. But it's a choreography is a choreography, and she did it very well. And to hit your mark every single time and do it again and again and again, you have to first practice again and again and again before you actually make the performance. I'm pretty sure anybody who has ever performed in anything knows that. And I feel like she really really put in so much work. It's just admirable. Like I said, it was difficult to stay awake during the last few songs, especially when she would sing the ballads and the slow ones and the acoustics and the piano. Um, because first of all, I also needed subtitles because there are certain artists that I struggle with when they're singing certain types of songs. For example, with Taylor, her very fast songs, I don't know if it's that the chorus is very repetitive, or I've heard them so much that I know what she's saying and it's very clear. Another thing could be that the music was very loud and the crowd there was so loud that when she did interpret those slow songs, it was not very easy for me to hear what she was saying or understand what she was saying word for word. And that took away from me being able to say, wow, so touching, so this, so that. So I was just during those songs, which were, I would say, mm, maybe 3 4 out of 10 songs were slow, for I mean, from what I can remember. And it was a bit difficult to stay awake. But like I said, that has nothing to do with the performance. If it would have been at 5 o'clock, I would have been out there really, um, not even remotely sleepy. But taking that factor away, the whole me having to work and wake up early and this and that, it was so much fun. Like the fast songs, they were colorful, they were big, and they were all different. Obviously, each era. I was hoping the guy, I don't mean to disrespect him, but the one that, well, how does that song go? I'm forgetting. I think it's called Oh, and I was like, uh oh. I remember watching the music video. The song was for me like, oh, whatever. But I did want that singer to appear because I feel like together they would have really exploded. And the music video was so colorful and so artsy. I was like, is somebody gonna fly in an umbrella? Is like, what's gonna happen? And it was one of the first songs that she performed. So I was like, they're probably not gonna do it again. So I was hoping to get a bigger thing from out of that song, but it was still very fun. The I think it's Reputation, maybe, where the whole snake theme comes about. Beautiful, gorgeous. I wasn't expecting any less. Lots of costume changes. Well, I mean, I know that some people get offended. I don't mean costume as in like Halloween costume. I mean like, wardrobe, like gowns and stuff. It was very, very pretty. She's obviously very pretty. She appear to be singing live, which is something that I appreciate so much. I don't mind a backtrack a little bit, and even a little bit of playback. I mean, to me, I would prefer no playback at all. But from what I understood, since I'm not a professional, I feel like she was singing live. They just had like in the background a pre-recorded track, but you could tell when she was actually putting in her own voice because she also had backup vocalists who were helping her through difficult, well, not difficult to sing, but difficult to interpret what you're dancing. And the dancers were amazing. She has a big variety of people, which is always nice to see. It's not so much as everybody has to be different and we have to have black, Mexicans, and Asians. You don't have to. You could have just one race. Really, really, if they're good, they're good. But it's really nice to see different body types every now and again, because we don't really, at least the people that grew up in the 90s like myself, you always had a certain look for professional dancers, at least, where they have to be fit, they have to be tall, the men, and then the women have to be slim. So that was also very fun to see. Everywhere in the stage there was something that caught your eye. The sets were beautiful, the ideas, and the way that she just formed part of the environment, and you really believe that she was in a forest when she was in a forest, and that she was in a club when the ambience was a lot more clubby. So it was a lot of fun. I couldn't really let loose. Like, it's difficult for me, because when I watch concerts, I watch them to appreciate the artist, to take in their talent, to be wowed and, my goodness, really, like, how could they do that? It's not a time for me to dance. Like, it's not a dance. I don't know how to say, but there are different types of concerts. When it's like in on a dance floor, and then the artist is just invited like on a festival type of environment, then of course, you could dance a lot, rah, rah, there's enough space, and you could get a little bit crazy. But when there are seatings, and everything is arranged, and especially when it's not even like live for you, you're watching uh a film on theaters, then I think that you should, be devoted to whatever the artist is doing. And I'm not saying that you have to, it's just what I'm doing. um if they're not even like, I felt like I was gonna like, clapping. I wanted to clap. I wanted to like hype her up, but she's not gonna hear me. It's pre-recorded, so there's no point in doing all of that. We did have some people screaming in the seats next to us. We were all the way in the back, and there were some people on the right, and I didn't even hear them scream. Like, that's how loud the concert was, with the people live. And it was until we went out of the theater where my siblings were like, and the girls that were, they never sat down and they were singing the whole time. And I was like, they were singing it, and they said, yeah, they were screaming, and we could barely hear each other when we came out. But it was a blast. I'm sure, like I said, everybody feels and enjoys concerts differently, and I feel like for me, I would have liked to maybe dance or hop or scream a little bit, but I was very aware of where I was and the people that were around me. And I didn't want to be the disrespectful person that's and then nobody could hear anything next to us. But I think everybody had a blast. The theater was almost full. I mean, the tickets really did sell out. If Because when I checked, there were only some available, in the front rows, which is the seats that nobody likes, and then after those is the back, very very back rows, which also not a lot of people like. But the middle ones were all filled up at my local AMC. Like I said, it was very pretty. It was very colorful, just what I was expecting. And I feel like I'm very proud of her. Like I said earlier, I'm not a fan, so I don't know like the gossip here, the gossip there, and what she meant by this, what she meant by that. But I think Taylor's a cool artist with very popular music. She's very talented. She writes a lot of her music, and she could stick to a choreograph. She could follow it, and and be entertaining in that sense as well. Her being as beautiful as she is, as conventionally beautiful as she is, she could wear anything, she'll still look good. um I'm looking forward to a collaboration with Selena Gomez in the future. Hopefully it happens. I mean, they're best friends, and I really like Selena's music. I like Selena's is one of the pop artists, female pop artists that I really really like. Well, I'm also not a fan, because I feel like there are levels, to everything. I'm not gonna disrespect other actual fans that go to her concerts and purchase her music. I don't purchase her music. I just listen to it on YouTube or on the radio. But her music. Selena Gomez is one of the artists that hit after hit after hit, and not just because it's commercially successful, but because it's successful to my ears. And having such a powerhouse in Taylor Swift, the global phenomenon, and having another very famous singer and actress and artist all around that Selena Gomez is, if you merge them together, I feel like you're gonna have something um, extraordinary, for real. Um, so yeah, that's I would give the concert a rating of maybe 9.5 out of 10, because one, the gosh, you can't ask people not to, go crazy in live. The rah was so loud that it at some points kind of overpowered, like I said, especially the slow songs. Like, I don't know what it was, or maybe it's just in my head, maybe my ears just, like, I wasn't hearing much in general. But it maybe the sound could have been a little bit more towards her mic, and a little bit less towards, like, what what it was gathering from the audience. But it still also feeds to the vibe, that people are really digging it. So it's not that bad. And another thing that I would have preferred was to maybe, I know it's the Eras tour for a reason, but I would have preferred maybe just separate the ballads, or at least the acoustics, the ones with just the piano, with just like a guitar and a little bit of other instruments like that. That's okay. Have them in the beginning or in a specific section. That way, once you go out from that, you could go back to the very fast ones. And it doesn't make sense to have all fast, because then she's gonna be out of breath and it's not gonna be a good performance. I understand that. But to make some of the slower songs, but just not the slowest in between, because that to go from here to there, from here to there, it was like, for me, try concerts are usually late anyway, and movies are to be enjoyed when it's dark, in my opinion. And by then, a lot of people that have, other responsibilities, they're like, gosh, if you sing a lullaby, I'm gonna start falling asleep. It's not, like I said, for me, 6 is already good out of 10. My rating 7 is even better. 8 is, so 9.5. Don't think that I'm like, oh, I don't like it. I really really liked it. It's just those little things that could have been better, um in my opinion. But when it comes to her performance, it was amazing, and the dancers and everybody, the production, everybody everybody had fun. And yeah, I'd be open to watching another one of her concerts, maybe in the theater again, or maybe live. I don't know. I think live would be a little bit too extreme with the prices, especially, but who knows. That's it for this one. Thank you for watching.